Hi, everybody. I'm here with Luca from Feiitogaming. I hope I said his name right. I am always not sure if I'm saying it correctly. So, welcome on in.
Thank you very much, Colin. It was perfect pronunciation.
Okay, great.
Don't worry.
How did you come up with the name? Because I've never seen anyone using something similar.
Um, okay, it's actually a pretty simple story. I was thinking about a name, and I wanted it to be unique. I wanted it to actually to look cool, so I wanted two eyes in it. For some reason, I don't know, and I wanted it to be a resemblance of a beloved character of mine. So I choose, I always used Fate as a character name for like online games and stuff, and that's the main protagonist from Star Ocean 3. So I just kind of played with it a little bit, and so Fate was born, and that's pretty much it. And then I put a gaming behind that, and that's it. Feiitogaming. Yeah.
Awesome. Before we get into the pod properly, I will just ask you some random questions about you and your general experience as a gamer.
Yeah, fine.
How did you get into JRPGs?
Um, Great question. Simple question, great question. Um, Actually, pretty much as you know, a lot of people will say that they got into JRPGs through Final Fantasy VII, and that's the case for me as well. This was the first JRPG I've ever played. I remember we got it like 2 years after it came out on the PlayStation, I think, and my brother borrowed it from a friend of his, and so we started playing it, and I was absolutely blown away by it and what video games could
Could
be
be.
at that moment. I only played like Crash Bandicoot, Gran Turismo, and stuff. And so that really was amazing, and yeah,
So we
that's how I
really
got
have
into JRPGs.
so we really have like a lot of similar taste in gaming then because Crash Bandicoot, that was literally my moment where I knew I was officially a gamer because I played Sonic, I'd played Mario before, liked them, but they weren't like, okay, I need to play all of this. You know what I mean? It was like
Mm,
whereas I saw Crash and I'm like, okay, this is interesting. Played Crash
yeah,
2 and I was instantly hooked.
absolutely. Like Crash 1 was absolutely great, fantastic game. But the second, and I remember I was blown away by how all the warp rooms like transported you, and there were all other themes
Yes,
with every warp room.
I loved that too. What is your favorite Crash game then, since we're on the topic of Crash Bandicoot?
My favorite Crash game would be Crash Bandicoot 3, Warped.
That is also mine. Have you played the new iteration of 4?
It's about time, you mean that?
Yes,
Yes, I played it and I was surprised how much I loved it. How about you? Did you like it?
I love it. It's my second favorite Crash game because to
Oh,
me, Crash Bandicoot needs to be hard as nails. That is like,
yes.
and I really feel like, yeah, I'll probably get told I'm gatekeeping, but I feel like Crash needs to be hard. That is what made the series originally.
Absolutely. It's what Crash is so much different than Spyro, for example, because Crash is a precision platformer, I would say.
Yeah,
And like Spyro was the exact opposite. It wasn't really about precision that much, but collecting stuff. And
yep.
that's fine. But a precision platformer has to be hard in a way. And the first and the fourth game showed that perfectly. And I think all of these four games are brilliant. And like a little controversial opinion here, I actually loved Wrath of the Cortex.
I love Wrath of Cortex as well. I think it's a overhated game. Now,
Yeah,
Twin Sanity, do not like that one.
yeah, me too. I,
Okay,
I, I,
what's your reason for disliking Twin Sanity?
I don't know. I think there are two main reasons. I suppose. The first one being that I didn't think Crash Bandicoot translated into 3D very well. I think this game had a problem with that, and the level design wasn't great. And I didn't really love the character design and humor. It was not for me at that time, and probably isn't now. So that's the reason why I don't like Twinsanity.
I still don't like the humor, and here's the other thing. You noticed how the game was like pretty broken and buggy even in the first level, right?
Yeah, I remember.
It does not get better. It gets
Oh,
worse. Much
yeah.
worse, actually, because like in some of the later ball levels where you're fighting with Cortex, which controlled horribly, I might add,
Mm,
you actually will start going through the floor randomly just before jumps, and it's like it looks like you've got room, but the game
mm.
just like glitches you through the world, and it's like, okay, why the fuck am I still playing this bullshit?
Well, great. Hey, it adds to the humor, right? So
Yeah,
yeah, it's another level.
and it makes you backtrack a lot, which is like, okay, this is not good game design.
Hey, it's not. It's not a Metroidvania, so yeah.
Yeah. Um. So you mentioned Gran Turismo. Are you a car guy?
Not that much anymore. I played every Gran Turismo up to I think 5. Bought it every one on day one, and I loved it. And I really got into cars, like just knowing cars and talking about cars, not in a very technical sense, but yeah. Other than that, I only played a handful of car games. Like Forza Horizon is absolutely fantastic. I love these games. Not so much the fifth one, but the fourth one and the third was great. And I tried to play Gran Turismo again with the seventh iteration, but I don't know. That was a huge disappointment last year. So I don't know. Occasionally, I have like the urge to play a racing game, but not that often.
Mm-hmm. If you do play racing games, I'm guessing you much prefer arcadey ones to Sims at this point, don't you?
Yeah, I suppose. It really shifts a lot. Sometimes mm, I don't know. Sometimes I want to play Sims, and sometimes I want to play arcadish racing games. It
Mm-hmm.
depends.
How come you decided to become a YouTuber, by the way?
Um, Good question. I'm not sure actually. No, I'm very sure because I don't know. I don't have too many friends to talk about video games. I have friends, but they're not too much into video games. So I always have that urge to talk about them. And I for a long time I was like every day or mm, like 3 times a week or something. I was playing with my brothers on the with the PlayStation party and stuff. And yeah, there was a time when we didn't do that anymore. So I decided to start a YouTube channel to talk about video games. And I thought I had a few things to say that I want people to hear and then talk with them about it. So I figured I just start a YouTube channel. And
And it's a really enjoyable channel.
thank you.
No problem. When when did you decide your focus for YouTube? Because you kind of you're pretty niche down to JRPGs and indies, I've noticed.
Right. Um, I don't know. The whole process of starting a YouTube channel was actually, in retrospect, it was weird a bit because I didn't really know what my goal was at that time. I just knew I wanted to talk about video games, and I consumed way too many videos about how to start a YouTube channel, and that was a mistake actually. If you look at my channel, the first video is about Tower of Fantasy, like this Genshin Impact style game, and that game is fine and stuff. But I consuming all these videos taught me to, I don't know, hop on a trend and just like make videos about that trend. And after the first video, I just realized, no, that's not what I want to do. although I released it. But yeah, that was not what I want to do. So I decided to just go with whatever I have in mind. So yeah, and then later I realized that videos about indie games are received very well. People are thankful for like being introduced to new games, and that was a great feeling. And I thought, you know, indie games don't get much recognition. Like not all indie games get much recognition, so I figured I just give them a platform of some sort. And if I someday will have a bigger YouTube channel, then more people will see these amazing games that are out there. So yeah, and
I think
JRPGs obviously because I just absolutely love JRPGs. My favorite genre, and it will always be my favorite genre.
I think that you're definitely going to become a big YouTuber at some point.
I hope so.
How long have you been at it for now at this point in time?
You mean like
YouTube.
in the YouTube partner program?
Just how long have you been creating videos on YouTube for?
Ah, okay. I got that wrong. I think I started in August of last year, so 2022, August 2022.
So you've
Like,
been at it exactly 1 month longer than I have, and
ah,
we've both grown at similar rates, I would say.
yeah, totally.
Um, so is there anything else you want to kind of say before we get into the meat of the topic?
Just want to talk about remakes and remasters, right?
Yeah, that's the main topic for today.
Absolutely.
So I feel like it's kind of fitting that we started talking off about Crash Bandicoot off the top because that kind of set the stage, so to speak, gave people an idea of what kind of games we both enjoy.
Hmm.
So what are some PlayStation 1 era games you really want to see return?
Oh, there is one. I know that there are games that I want to see, and they actually have been remade. The first game that always comes to mind is a proper remake of the second Oddworld game, like Ape's Exodus, if you know that game.
Yep, I do. I actually really liked the Soulstorm. I mean, I really liked the Oddworld games back in the day.
Yeah, they were amazing. I remember watching my dad play it a lot, and I don't know, it's probably one of these games I have replayed the most in my life. And so the first game was Odyssey, got a really good remaster. What I think in 2014 or something,
Yep,
called something with Tasty. I'm not sure.
new and tasty.
New and Tasty,
New
right, right.
Abe's Odyssey, new and tasty. That was the title.
Yeah, right. And that was great. I loved it. And so I was hyped. I was pretty excited for the remake of the second one, Soulstorm, which came out last year in April, I think, something like that.
2 years ago, I
Uh,
think, actually.
yeah, okay. And I didn't like it. I really didn't like it. It was fine. It was not as bad as I thought it would be, but it was not as good as I hoped it would be because um Ape was designed to be and this sounds weird if you know these games, but Ape was designed to be not violent in a direct sense.
Mm-hmm.
So he always just uses violence through others, like by chanting and taking control over other beings. And so
Basically, he's reverse Gandhi.
he is reverse Gandhi, right? Yeah, but the Soulstorm remake did something weird. At least I thought it was weird because he was able to use like throw things and use weapon and stuff, and that was weird. And I didn't like that one. And also the level design was not that great in my opinion, so I stopped playing it like after I don't know 6 hours or something. But you liked it, right?
I have not played Soulstorm yet, actually.
Ah, okay.
I was trying to say I like the Oddworld games, and my brain just went complete confusion.
No, that's fine. Okay. Yeah, don't. I mean, you could play it, but I suppose it would be a waste of time. But that's just me.
I got it for free through PlayStation Plus, so I will try it at some point.
Right.
But I will keep your viewpoints in mind when I do get to it. I would really love to see Final Fantasy Tactics remastered because I have no experience with the Tactics games.
Absolutely. That was the one thing I was gonna say the next. Tactics, Final Fantasy Tactics. I didn't play it back in the day. I think I played it through emulation, like I don't know, 15 years ago for an hour or something, and I wasn't into that much at that time.
Mm-hmm.
But I want a proper remake of that. I think the Tactics Ogre thing from like 2 years ago or something was great.
Yep.
I thought it looked really good. And so I don't know, Square Enix, they're sitting on a lot of money there. They just need to remake that. Tactical RPGs are kind of in a new, how would I say it? They're popular more than
Renaissance.
ever, I think.
Renaissance.
Absolutely, a renaissance of tactical RPGs. So
Did
it
you
would be the best time to release it now or next year.
did you know that it actually got leaked that they are remaking it through Nvidia?
This Nvidia, yeah, this big Nvidia leak. Yeah, I remember. And there also was this Final Fantasy IX remake thing leaked.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think that those will prove real, or do you think they'll be false? Because the thing is, a few games that were revealed through that leak have come to pass. Quite a lot of them, actually.
Yeah, quite a lot of them really did make it. I hope it's true, especially for tactics. I don't know. I absolutely love Final Fantasy IX. Not as much as most people do, but I really love it, and I also would love to see a remake of that. But somehow I would be more excited for Tactics to be remade,
Mm-hmm.
just because I haven't played it and heard really good things about it. And also, it's set in Ivalice, if I remember correctly. This the same world that they used for Final Fantasy 12 again. And I don't know, it's something about this world, this setting that I absolutely adore. And I think the atmosphere of Final Fantasy 12 is something special. Can't really describe it, but it's something special. And I just want to spend more time in Ivalice. It's great.
I was really enjoying the story of Final Fantasy 12, but the gameplay was just not for me.
Yeah, I can understand that. I understand why.
What was your? You said that Final Fantasy 7 was obviously your first Final Fantasy experience. Have there been any Final Fantasy games that left a sour taste in your mouth?
Yeah, quite a few actually. Um, I don't know. So I started with 7, loved it. Played 8 at release date, loved it. Didn't play 9 at that time. Loved 10, and then I skipped 11, of course, because it was an online game. And so 12 was weird, but I liked it at that time. And then that's the thing. Probably everybody would probably say is that 13 is it left a sour taste in my mouth, but not because it was linear or something. That was totally fine for me. It was fine that it was linear. I really hated the characters, and the story was weird. But the thing I hated the most about 13 was the progression system, like this Crystarium thing that was kind of inspired by the Sphere Grid from 10,
But
but
way
it
more
didn't work
limiting.
as, yeah, totally. You just, if you reach a certain point in the story, you can't grind
For
anymore, and that's it. You just have to progress the story. That was weird, and I hated that.
I agree. So did I ever tell you what my Final Fantasy history is. I'm not sure if I have or not.
No, you haven't.
Okay, so I had heard that like Final Fantasy was this great IP when I was in my teen years because I'd just never been exposed to it when I had the PS1. So one day I went to Blockbuster, saw Final Fantasy X-2 on the shelf, and I'm like, okay, why not? I've heard it's a good franchise. Got it, did not like it. And I'm like, okay, why do people like Final Fantasy? And then I saw like the trailers for Final Fantasy 13, and I'm like, okay, this looks nice. Got it, didn't like it. And I'm like, okay, what the fuck? Why do people like this fucking franchise? And then I started complaining to my friend when I was like 22 or so, and he's like, why are you ragging on Final Fantasy? And I'm like, well, here's what I've played. And he's like, dude, no fucking wonder you hate the series. I'm buying you the re-release of 7 and 8 on PlayStation 3. So he got them for me, and I wound up loving them.
Yeah, that's a very kind of him. Yeah, you picked the two black sheeps basically, which is unfortunate, but you got around it eventually. So, what is your favorite Final Fantasy, by the way?
10.
Sorry, didn't get that.
The first 10.
The first 10. Okay.
What about you? What's your favorite? I'm guessing it's probably 7.
I know it's a boring answer, but it is. It was my first JRPG, and I just love the story. I love the characters. The music is epic. I don't need to say anything about that. Everyone knows that.
I definitely agree that it's epic. My first JRPG was technically Pokemon Blue.
Ah, yeah, a great game.
So I've come at JRPGs from a whole different angle than you have because I loved Pokemon, and I was always trying to find a game that was similar, and I would describe what I was looking for, and I just didn't know what turn-based combat was. You probably heard that in my podcast with Chicken Fillets.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want this, and the people at EB Games were always so confused as to what I was talking about because my area was so uncultured.
Yeah.
You know, here is something that I have kind of noticed, and maybe you can give me some insight on it. All of my German friends absolutely adore JRPGs and are, well, what some would say is insulting, a weeb. Why do you think that is that Germany, more than any other country I've ever run across, tends to love JRPGs and Japanese media?
That's a good question. I really have to
think about it for a minute.
Not think about it, but I would just guess. I guess. I guess it's because I don't know. The Germans have an affection for the Japanese culture and stuff. I think many of us love the country. They love anime. And that's probably one big reason why the voice acting in German is really well done. Like, we have a really good voice acting here, and so if you watch anime in German, it's insane how good it is voice acted, and so I think that adds to like the popularity of these anime, and so I don't know. I would say a lot of people who watched anime back in the day probably played or still play JRPGs now. And I would guess it's because of that.
Since we are on the topic of anime real quickly, I'll actually say that I can confirm the German dubbing is very good. I've watched a little bit of the Yu-Gi-Oh dub in German.
Ah, great. Yeah.
And Kaiba's voice actor is just perfect.
Totally. He's great. You have to the one thing that is basically legendary here in Germany is the voice acting for Dragon Ball Z. Especially the voice actor for Goku is absolutely insane. If you hear him scream
I have
Um,
not
it,
seen the German dub of Dragon Ball Z,
yeah, you have to watch it. It's great. It's really great.
but when I start learning German some more, because I do want to learn it, I'm actually going to start watching anime dubbed in German.
Cool. That's a great way to learn, actually.
Hmm. I would say you've got really, really good English, by the way.
Thank you.
What sort of media helped you learn English back in the day, if you don't mind my asking?
Absolutely. Um, there's actually one game that really helped me develop my English skills, and that was Star Ocean 3, Till the End of Time, because that was the first game I was basically forced to play in English, um, because it was the only language available for that game. And so, but everything about this game was so appealing to me, and I really wanted to play it. And it was like around 2005 or something, or
Hmm.
no, it was 2004. So I was around 14 years old.
So
And
we're
so
exactly the same age then.
we're exactly the same age. Okay, cool. If you tell me now you have your birthday is in August, then
July.
okay. So you're 1 month older.
Yep.
Yeah, so that was the game that really helped me because everything was in English. I didn't understand half of the words. So I actually had to look things up. And yeah, that helped me a lot. Like from the pronunciation, I mean, it's still, I think you can hear that I'm German, but it helped me there.
Only on a couple of words, and most of the time you kind of have a almost British sounding accent.
Yeah, it's a weird mix, I would say. It's like British, German, American thing. I don't know. It's fine for me.
Hey,
But yeah, that
people tease me over my accent because they're like, you sound American, you sound Canadian, and you sound British.
yeah, it's and it sounds good. That's all that matters. So yeah, Star Ocean 3 helped me a lot, and now I pretty much watch everything I watch is in English. Doesn't matter if I go to the cinema or just watch Netflix and stuff. Everything is in English. So yeah,
Probably makes your life in the digital space a lot easier, doing everything in English.
it does. It does. It was a conscious decision because when I thought to go back to the topic from before, when I was thinking about starting a YouTube channel, I really needed to ask myself, do I want to do it in German or do I want to do it in English? And I ended up doing it in English because I thought,
Wider audience.
more people on this world speak that language and I want to talk to as much people as possible. So I had to choose English. But maybe I will do someday. I will open a channel, like a second channel in German. Maybe, I'm not sure.
What would the topic be for the second channel if it's in German?
Either games, like a second channel on games, or movies. Maybe cooking. I just love cooking.
Hmm.
That could be a topic. So yeah.
Speaking of food, I am so looking forward to when Stollen will be available.
When what will be available? Sorry, what?
Stolen.
Ah, yeah, right.
Did I say
Stollen.
it? Did I say it correctly?
Yeah, you said it well. I just it's not something I eat, so I was what does he mean? But yeah, Stollen, right? Like the cakey bready thing.
Yes, I'm guessing you don't really have much of a sweet tooth, do you?
No, not that much. No.
I'm with you there. I mostly prefer salty things, but I really always get happy when the Dutch bakery near me has Stollen around Christmas time.
It's delicious. It is delicious.
What are some of your favorite German treats and snacks?
Hmm. I never thought about that actually because I think most of the things I eat are not specifically German. I'm not sure actually if something I find normal is actually a pretty specific German thing. I'm not sure.
Well,
I really have to think about it.
name some stuff that you find normal.
Uh, how about Brezeln?
What's
Do you
that?
know Brezeln?
No.
Um, it's pretzels. If you know that.
Oh yeah, yeah. I know
Yeah.
pretzels. They're pretty ubiquitous at this point, but I believe they do have origins in Germany, so
Yeah. I suppose South Germany, I think.
see, that would be an interesting topic for your food channel if you ever go down that route. What you could do
Yeah.
is you could uh cover food and their history, and you could do the episode in both German and in English. That way you're reaching everyone.
Ah, you're right. That's a good idea. Maybe I'll do that.
Awesome. So I'm guessing with Star Ocean 2 being remastered recently, you're really salivating at the thought of Star Ocean 3 being remastered.
I thought about that just yesterday. And there are some games that I don't really need to be remastered. And with Star Ocean 3, I'm not sure if I would want that because it is great the way it is. But on the other hand, there are things in Star Ocean 3 that, that I replayed it like 2 years ago or something, or 3 years ago. And then I realized how weird some things in it are. Like the battle system has this fury system, so you basically consume fury, which is like a percentage thing, and you consume that, and then you have to wait until it refills. So there are times in battle where you don't move, which is a bit weird because you are not constantly in action. So that would be one thing they could like improve on. And the other thing is they could definitely improve on some of the voice acting and dialogue because some of these dialogues are absolutely ridiculous. They are I don't have an example for that right now, but I remember that the dialogue is weird, to say the least.
Fair enough. I find that most 2000s Japanese video games have some kind of weirdness in terms of the localization.
Yeah. Do you have
Some
another example?
uh I'll use Tales of Xillia off the top of my head. It's not a vocal localization thing. It's just a, you know how the middle finger is very rude in the Western world, right?
Yeah, except Germany, I suppose.
Okay, so that's something that you share with Japan.
Yep. So,
It's
or
it's
to say it other, sorry, the middle finger here is rude, but we don't. What I meant was we don't censor it on TV or stuff. It's just shown, and it's fine. It's a rude gesture, but not as rude as somewhere else, I suppose.
in Japan it's just considered a comical gesture. It's not, there's
Oh.
no real meaning behind it. So a character who was being silly in Tales of Xillia was, they were angry, but they were still being silly, if you know what I mean.
Hmm.
They gave a character the middle finger and they did a weird cutaway from the middle finger gesture. It doesn't
Oh,
ruin the game or anything, but it feels odd because you know what they're doing. It's like, why? Just,
yeah.
and it's a T game, so they could have got away with it.
Mm. Oh, that's something for another podcast as a whole topic, like weird censorship. Like from the top of my head, I think about the weird thing they did in Devil May Cry 5, where you can see like the butt of Triss, I think, is one of
Yeah,
the
yeah,
female characters,
it was Triss.
and it's so weird. Just, I mean, I don't need it, but just don't do it, Capcom. What the fuck?
I believe they only did that on the PS5 or sorry, the PS4 version as well.
Yeah, right. You're right. The Xbox didn't have that.
I know that for a little while Sony was censoring a lot of stuff, but the thing is, it was mostly characters who would be lollies.
Hmm.
mostly. So
Hmm.
that kind of censorship I can understand
Yeah,
because
that's fine.
lollies are a very uncomfortable topic.
Absolutely.
Why do you think there are so many lolly characters though in the last couple of years of RPGs? Because I've noticed that they seem to be on the rise, and I'm like, why?
Ooh, that I have absolutely no idea.
Me,
Actually, don't
me, I,
know.
me either. And it's like, why? It used to be that characters looked older. Let's put it that way.
Hmm. I
Uh,
actually didn't notice that. If you ask me that.
yeah, I noticed that characters are now very much looking more like lollies, and one of the first times I noticed it was when I was playing Trails of Cold Steel. Go figure.
Ah, okay. Ah, I haven't played Cold Steel
Oh God, you really got
yet.
to get to it.
Yeah, I know. I know. That's a whole other topic.
Where are
I
you
just
in the Trails universe right now?
oh, don't ask me that because I haven't started yet. So I bought some games 3 weeks ago because they were on sale on PlayStation. I know that's not the right point to start because I really want to start at the beginning. But
Okay,
on the PlayStation, I bought the Trades to Azure and Trades to what was the first one?
Trails from Zero.
Yeah, right. Trades from Zero and Trades to Azure, and I bought the first Cold Steel games, and I'm currently waiting for the Trades of the Skies series, the three games, um, to go on sale on Steam. So,
I know
I mean,
you
they're not
said
expensive and stuff, but
I know you said you wanted to start off with Sky, but you can start at either Zero or Cold Steel completely fine.
oh, okay,
You'll just
okay.
like
So,
you'll just miss some like really obscure references,
hmm
and you'll have one storyline implied from the Sky games
hmm
in Zero and Azure, but it won't really be touched on. It doesn't really spoil anything because it's like so non-specific, and like you'll just meet some characters who were very important in the Sky games, Joshua and Estelle specifically.
hmm
But basically it's like, you know how in anime, how if you pick it up at like a later arc and it'll reference past events, and your brain's just like, okay, those events probably happened off screen.
ah, yeah, right.
It's kind of
Okay,
like it's like that.
ah, okay. The only reason I really want to start with the Sky trilogy is because I suppose it just feels a little bit better gameplay wise. I would assume at least because as they are the oldest games in the series, they're probably just improving on the gameplay with every iteration.
Oh yeah, that's definitely the case. Trails in the Sky 1 through 3, very basic JRPGs. Like they're the most basic you're gonna get in terms of
Yeah.
gameplay, especially turn-based gameplay.
Mhm. Which is fine because I want to experience the story. But going back to that game when you first played, I don't know, Cold Steel or stuff,
That's what I
could
started
be
with.
hard.
That's what I
Ah,
started
okay.
with, and it wasn't that hard because here's what Falcom does. Every time they start the first entry of a new arc, they strip it back quite significantly.
Hmm.
And then
Gameplay
they
wise.
yeah, and then they
Hmm.
reintroduce mechanics, and they add some new ones for each arc.
Okay. Actually sounds a bit weird, but they're successful with it.
They're very successful with it, and when you're playing it, it really makes sense. Because I will say this, each region that's covered in the games have their own technology, and the technology advances at like different rates.
Um,
And in most cases, the technology is like in very early beta stages for the first game in the series. So it makes
okay.
sense that some features would be stripped down.
Okay, that makes sense. That sounds cool.
Yeah. And then they're like, oh, okay, game two, here's some more features.
I really
And
can't wait to enter that series.
I actually have been hearing rumors that Falcom is remaking Trails in the Sky.
That would be great. But I still want to play the original ones, I
Oh,
think.
I would definitely recommend playing the original ones. It's just a case of Falcom seems to want to make it so that everyone can play the games on
Hmm.
their preferred platforms. And it looks like a full-on remake for Trails in the Sky for an upcoming anniversary is going to happen.
Ah, cool. And with that, we are back to the topic, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it actually looks like Falcom is going to have a in-house HD 2D engine for the remakes of Sky, or they could be using the engine that debuted in Kuro no Kaseki, otherwise known as Trails Through Daybreak.
Okay, cool.
So
They
it
own 2D HD, yeah.
so we don't really know yet if it's going to run the uh engine that uh Daybreak will use, which looks beautiful by the way if you've seen it.
I've seen the trailer, yeah.
Yeah, so like it really looks like a modern game. I don't get why people say that game looks like a PS3 game. If that looks like a PS3 game to you, you probably need your eyes checked.
Yeah, probably. It looks gorgeous. Absolutely.
I would say it looks like a late stage PS4 game.
Yeah, I
Because let
agree.
because let's face it, the PS5 when it's got its own dedicated stuff looks way better than PS4, but the average PS5 game still doesn't look that much better than a PS4 game.
Yes, I totally agree.
Um, what are some other games you really want to see remastered?
There are there are so many. I could put on my list actually. I have made 2 videos already on my channel for games I want to see a remake or remaster of. And the one game that always comes to my mind and was actually the reason I made the first video on my channel is Dragon Quest 8. Um, I really loved Dragon Quest 8 back in the day. It's absolutely gorgeous game, and I replayed it. I think I don't know, maybe 8 years ago or something. Can't remember, but doesn't matter. And I realized then I actually realized how well crafted this game is, and I think it's brilliant. And I want a remake of that one, with the graphics of at least of
11.
Dragon Quest 11. That would be great because that game looks gorgeous.
Fun fact,
Yeah, that would be a dream.
I actually tried Dragon Quest 11 out because of the graphics, the vanilla version. I did not get on with that game.
Oh, why?
Basically I just found that like the damage output from my stuff was not that great,
Hmm.
and it felt like the enemies were kind of spongy, which is something I really get annoyed with in JRPGs, is if the scrubs feel spongy.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
I will say this, I loved the story.
Story is great. Yeah, really light-hearted story. I
I
enjoyed that one.
I
You
I
mean the story of 11? Yeah.
yeah, I will
Yeah.
say this. I think I will try like the definitive version of 11 at some point because my friends who have played it have told me that it really fixes a lot of my issues with the base version of the game. So
Hmm.
I think that will be a much better experience. You know what I mean?
It is. I can confirm that. I replayed Dragon Quest 11 last year in the definitive version for the first time, and it is better than the original one. It really is. It adds a lot of stuff that's great, and it's just that version is really the definitive version to play this game. So yeah, I highly recommend playing Dragon Quest 11.
Which Dragon Quest would you say I should start with though, since I didn't have the best experience with the original 11, but I have interest in checking out the older ones.
Yeah, and you know, this is a classic.
Sorry,
It's really
can you repeat that because you kind of got chopped off?
oh sorry. Dragon Quest 8 is a absolutely it's a classic. It's really great, and that's probably the one the only one I want a remake of. But to be quite honest, I haven't played any other Dragon Quest before that. So that's the reason I'm kind of biased there. So yeah, but that one would be a dream come true. If we got a proper Dragon Quest 8 remake or remaster.
Are you excited for Dragon Quest 12?
Yes. After after 11, which is probably I don't have a list of that, but I would assume that it's in my top 25 games of all time. So yeah, I'm quite excited for 12, but we don't know anything about it. We just had these this small short short teaser thing, and that's it. That's all we know. And it seems like it's a bit darker from this teaser trailer. I'm not sure. But that's the one that's one of these JRPGs I always forget about because we don't have any information. But if we get information, I will probably lose my mind.
Like I said, we're kind of in a silver age of RPGs at this point in time in a previous video.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. I saw that video, and yeah, you made a really good point. We are in a silver age of RPGs and JRPGs. I totally agree.
I think that we could even get something better than the Golden Age in the very near future if this keeps up.
Yeah, I mean, and that's something that connects to our topic today because I think if we get all these great RPGs that are coming out, and also there are quite a few indie RPGs that are brilliant, like Crosscode, Chained Echoes, and Sea of Stars recently, and a lot of new ones. Plus, if we get a few remakes and remasters on top of that, this will be heaven for us.
One that I really hope gets remastered at some point is Skies of Arcadia.
It's funny that you said that was the next thing I was about to say because I pulled up my list of games I want to remake or remaster of because of course I will make another video about that, and Skies of Arcadia is on top of that list.
I've actually never played the original or the GameCube remaster,
Yeah, me neither.
but every single one of my friends who has played it tells me that it is literally the very type of game that I would adore.
Yeah, I don't actually know too much about this game.
Me
I just
either.
know that it looks gorgeous and it looks really lighthearted, if I'm correct.
I would say it's decently lighthearted, yeah. There are actually two characters from that game who appear in Valkyria Chronicles, by the way.
Ah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, the blonde party member, I forget her name right now. Someone will tell me in the comments, but my brain's too fried right now to remember it, and I don't really want to go and Google it and disrupt the flow of the conversation. And then Vice is the other one.
Vice, okay.
Vice is the main character.
Ah, the one that's probably probably one of these Mandela effect things. But does he have an eye patch?
He does.
He does. Okay. I wasn't sure.
Why do you want to see Skies of Arcadia remastered?
So basically, if I want a game to be remastered, then there are two reasons. The first one being I want to replay it because I love that game and I want to have it with better graphics and on modern consoles, and I want other people to experience that. And the other reason is like with Skies of Arcadia and Final Fantasy Tactics, I never played these games, and I want to have a way to play these games, and especially Skies of Arcadia. If you want to buy that for the GameCube, for example, it's ridiculously expensive here in Germany. I suppose it's expensive everywhere.
How much is it in Germany, out of curiosity?
The last time I checked was probably last year or something, so I don't have like current numbers. but back last year it was like 120, 130 euros or something, which is quite expensive for an old game like that.
Oh wow, we can get it for like 40 0.69 euro here.
Oh, okay. So you're lucky. Maybe I need to check again. And it isn't that expensive anymore. I don't know. But still, like having a new version of that with better graphics and other improvements on, I don't know, the Switch or the PlayStation.
Let's just say all consoles, just
Yeah,
because.
that would be best.
Um, it's not so. See, online, stupidly expensive to get it. But if you go to a charity shop or a vintage game shop, you can find it for reasonable prices here.
Hmm.
Still expensive, but like not not fucked up expensive
Hmm. Yeah.
because it's like 40 Canadian.
40. Yeah. That's how much in euros? Do you know that?
That would be 60 something euro.
60, which would be fine, which would be totally fine. I would buy it at that price, but
Oh, sorry,
we don't have.
I got it mixed up. It other way around. It's 40 something euros and 60 something Canadian because Canadian isn't worth as much as the euro.
Even better. That
Yeah,
would be a dream. But yeah, they I don't know who would be responsible for that to remake or remaster, but that would be great.
Sega owns the IP, so them.
Okay.
Also, they periodically put out polls about what games we want remastered and stuff, and Skies of Arcadia is always on the list. So clearly,
Hmm.
they haven't entirely forgotten about the series.
So maybe someday we get lucky.
I would personally love to see Atlas tackling a remake of it,
Oh, okay.
or the people who are behind the Like a Dragon turn-based games. Those are the two that I think would be the best studios to handle it,
And why is that?
just because they've got experience with turn-based combat, so they would be able
Hmm.
to tweak it and make it perfect, I think.
Yeah. Just fingers crossed we get that eventually.
Also, with the general premise of Skies of Arcadia, I could actually see a sequel happen if they remaster it
Hmm.
because it's about sky pirates.
It's about Sky Pirates. Yeah, that that's always the thing with some games. I'm I'm always thinking about, do I want to remake or remaster of it, or just a new game, which would in some cases would actually be better. For example, I have an example here somewhere.
No worries, just take your time.
Breath of Fire was this one thing I thought would be great to get a remaster of the four games. But it also, if you think about it, if Capcom is just, I think Capcom is one of the craziest studios like in the last 10 years or something. They pulled out stuff that's absolutely amazing. Um, and it would be really great to see Capcom like do a new Breath of Fire with all the high quality devs. Yeah, that would be absolutely amazing, right? New Breath of Fire. Would you be interested in that?
I would be because I've never played any of the old Breath of Fire games, but all of my friends hype them up.
Yeah, I played the third one, I suppose. Was it the third one? I think it was the third one, and I love that. I never played the other games, but the whole premise of Breath of Fire is really cool. Like transforming into a dragon mid battle is
Pretty
fantastic.
epic.
Yeah, totally epic. And I mean, can you imagine Capcom with the RE engine doing that as I don't know, even as a turn-based JRPG would be great.
See,
That
you
would
know
be so
what? I
cool.
think that people have it so wrong when it comes to turn-based combat and it being outdated and needing more stylized graphics, because think of it this way. A Breath of Fire game with really pretty, really realistic graphics using the RE engine, like you just said, and being able to turn into a dragon and a whole bunch of other things, and just like that with a hyper realistic style could be very interesting.
This could be, yeah, this could be really cool. I mean, the RE engine is versatile in a way. I would say I'm not an expert on the technical side of things,
They were
but if I look
definitely able
at
to make it very stylized with Street Fighter 6.
exactly, that's what I was gonna say. It's really different. If you look at Street Fighter 6, it looks completely different than, I don't know, Monster Hunter World.
By
And
the way, what do you think of the whole naming convention for the next version of the RE engine? Because they renamed it Rex.
okay, because it is RE10, or is it like the 10th?
See, this is what's sparking a lot of debate. People think that this might indicate that they're making a Dino Crisis game.
That would be that would be great. And that's another thing. To see a remaster or remake of the first two Dino Crisis games would be great, but getting a third one would be equally great. I don't know. I can't decide what I would find better.
But
Um,
this got me thinking, because dragons, Rex, you see where I'm going?
ah, Capcom. Let me say that one. Capcom has it with dinosaurs and dragons. I mean, they have Breath of Fire, dragons. They have Dragon's Dogma. They have Dino Crisis. They have Monster Hunter. They have Exoprimal. That's like 5 games with dinosaurs or like dragons and stuff.
Basically, they're
It's
tapping into every 90s male kid's wet dream.
yeah, totally.
But this got me thinking, because they said that they're working on a new game that will come out in early 2024 and is guaranteed to sell millions of copies. And it's going to be the first game to use the Rex engine.
They said that. Oh, I totally missed that.
Yeah, so like this has people debating if it's going to be a new Monster Hunter, if it's going to be Resident Evil 10, if it's going to be Dino Crisis. And now this
Hmm.
got me thinking, well, Breath of Fire, that would actually sell millions of copies because JRPG.
Hmm.
So like
Yeah.
now we've fueled some more fire on the flames.
Yeah, that would. I mean, I would buy that day one probably. Depending on how the trailer looks, of course. But yeah, that would be a dream come true. But from the statement, like it would sell millions of copies. I suppose that Dino Crisis would be a better fit there. I mean, it's very similar gameplay wise to Resident Evil, and these games sold so well and are really great games. And so I think it could be that one.
Either way, that's really interesting. Or it could be the new Monster Hunter as well.
That oh that I mean, I don't know. I haven't talked too much about Monster Hunter on my channel because I haven't played too much Monster Hunter recently. But Monster Hunter World is one of my all-time favorite games. I mean, I spent like 1,500 hours in it. I absolutely adore this game, and getting the new Monster Hunter with, if you say like REX Rex engine or whatever, um, seeing that one in breathtaking graphics. I mean, I would probably take all my vacation days for that just to play it.
Fair enough. That would be really awesome. But they're saying that the Rex engine is going to be for PlayStation 5, PCs, Xbox Series, whatever Nintendo's new system winds up being, and for next generation consoles when those get announced.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
it's going to be I'm guessing, a massive step up from the current RE engine. What about you?
Yeah, I would think so too. It it will probably be. I don't know. I think it will probably match the Unreal Engine 5, like with details and stuff, like how
Yep.
it looks. I
Like,
think it will match that one.
since we're speaking on Unreal Engine 5 real quick, Tekken 8 really has me blown away for how it looks.
Absolutely right. I mean, I'm not too much. I know you are obviously you are a fighting game content creator.
Yep.
And I'm not too much into fighting games. I mean, I played Soul Calibur 3 was one of my favorite fighting game. It is my favorite fighting game actually. And I played a ton of that, but I'm not too much into fighting games. And Street Fighter 6 and the new Tekken game are, weirdly enough, I really want to play them. They both look great. I mean, I played the beta from Street Fighter 6 and it
Mm-hmm.
was cool. Haven't bought it yet. But Tekken 8, is it?
Yes, and it's coming out in January.
January. Oh, right. So like 2 months.
Yep.
Yeah, that looks really cool. And I don't know, I want to play a fighting game again.
Check your Discord. I just sent you something.
Oh, that would be great.
Cool. We'll make that happen then, because I actually want to do some streams and stuff with other content creators, and Tekken 8 is the game of choice for that one.
Oh yeah, it will be huge probably. I mean it's Tekken. I mean Tekken 3 is legendary, so
I've played the beta for Tekken 8, by the way.
oh you already was it a closed beta?
Yes, I've played both versions of the closed beta.
And you liked it?
Loved it so much that it's definitely going to be a day one purchase for me, and I'm going to get the one that has the season pass for myself.
Cool. Yeah, that's cool.
It plays a lot like my actual favorite fighting game of all time,
which is
Dead or Alive 5 Last Round.
Dead or Alive 5. Okay. Which platform was that?
PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, PS4, Xbox One, and PC.
So okay. So originally a PS3 game. Okay. Like yeah, I always I can't remember the generation. Like all the generations have numbers and stuff. Like I don't know which generation the PS3 era was.
I always have to look it up. Actually, whenever I'm making videos about it, because my brain's just like, it's just a gaming console. The generation doesn't matter until it does.
Yeah, right. Totally. But okay, Dead or Alive 5. Yeah, what are your thoughts on Soul Calibur? Because
I love Soul Calibur.
Hmm?
I love Soul Calibur.
Okay, because that's actually, to get back to the topic, that's actually another game I would want to see a remaster of. They, weirdly enough, they remastered the second Soul Calibur game, like an HD version or something, which, if I remember correctly, and you probably know this, had an online feature again.
Yep.
So I would love to see Soul Calibur 3 get that same treatment.
I don't know if you knew this or not, but Soul Calibur 6 is actually a remake of the first Soul Calibur game.
Is it?
Yeah.
Soul Calibur, okay. Soul Calibur 6 is a remake of the first? Okay.
Because what they did,
I played 6.
Because what they did is the storyline for Soul Calibur 6, it's a retelling of Soul Calibur 1.
Huh. Okay, yeah, that's new to me. I didn't know that.
You have Soul Calibur 6 still, yeah?
I have it, yes.
What console?
On PS4.
Okay, we will have to come up with a night where we play that together.
Oh yeah, we will. But you will absolutely destroy me in this game because I'm really shit. But it's still fun. Actually, one funny story. I don't know if that's we can cut it out if that's not appropriate. But you know that Soul Calibur 6 has a character creator.
Yep.
And you know that you can put all kinds of stuff on your character.
Oh yeah.
And I remember that there was this time where like everyone made funny characters. So I created a lizard kind of character with the fighting style of Voldo. And obviously, obviously, I, I don't know. We can cut it out.
No, go
You
ahead.
know what I'm about to say. Obviously, I made a shape that looked like a penis. And then I went online, and this is the best thing that happened to me. Yeah, ever. I don't know. I went online, was expecting to troll some people with my lizard Voldo penis character. And what happened was I encountered another person doing the exact same thing. And we were just like both these this Voldo fighting style. And for the people who don't know, Voldo has like two claws in his hands, and he moves really like
Weirdly,
elegantly. But he has this move where he puts all his I don't know how to describe it. This move where he puts all his arms, like his hands, on the ground, but his belly is up, his stomach is up. So what he's gonna do is his belly is up, so obviously his penis is too. So yeah, you can like bounce up and down and stuff, and it was hilarious. And
there's actually a reason that my Twitch community calls him Mr. Humpy.
Mr. Humpy, yeah, right. Oh man, I think this was the funniest thing that ever happened to me as a gamer. Yeah, I couldn't stop laughing. It was great. I don't know. I probably said penis like 10 times. I hope it's fine.
It'll be fine. And if not, it can just be bleeped by my editor.
Yeah, sorry for the 10 bleeps you have to add.
It's fine. I would really love to see Soul Calibur games get remastered, especially 4.
Oh, 4. Okay. What's so
Because
special about 4?
it was the first Soul Calibur game I played.
Okay.
And it was like kind of my early introduction to fighting games. Because I'd never played them as a kid and didn't play them until I was a late teenager, early 20-something.
So, okay, did you go back and play Soul Calibur 3, 2, and 1?
I've played Soul Calibur 2. I haven't played 1. I haven't played 3. I didn't play 5 because that game was shit.
It was.
And then I picked up Soul Calibur 6 when I started getting really back into fighters because, like, I'd played Dead or Alive 5, played Dead or Alive 6, and I was like, I'm good. Then basically stuff happened. I started playing fighting games on my Twitch channel, and that's how I became a fighting game content creator.
Great.
And yeah, basically that's my experience with Soul Calibur. I think we're gonna get a new Soul Calibur game in the very near future, though.
Yeah, I mean the sixth game is when
Came
did it
out
came
in
out? 2016?
2018.
Yeah. Okay, so it's time.
I have a theory, actually. I think that we were supposed to be getting like a new Soul Calibur game next year because I imagine Tekken 8 was actually supposed to come out in like 2021, 2022 kind of area, but the pandemic caused it to get delayed. Just because, think about it, Tekken 7 came out in, give me a second. Do you have Tekken 7, by the way?
No, I haven't played Tekken since Tekken 3.
It's on sale for $13 Canadian on the PlayStation Store right now.
Oh, okay.
So if you want to pick it up and play me a few rounds, I'd be down with that.
That would be cool, but I have so many games to play right now.
It came out in 2015.
2015. Wow, it's 8 years old.
Yeah,
okay.
You see what I mean? Like 2015 to 2021, that would be like the average game development cycle. But 2023, that's something obviously happened to delay it, and I would say the pandemic would probably be the most obvious example.
It probably was. Yeah, you're right.
And since Soul Calibur 7 came out about 3 years later, so 3 seasons of Tekken DLC,
Mhm.
I would say that, yeah, that was kind of the general game plan, but the pandemic screwed everything up.
Yeah, it did. I really hope that Soul Calibur 7 releases next year because I
Well,
don't know,
next
there's something
next year will
about
be Tekken. Next year will be
Tekken.
Tekken,
Okay.
but because January. But I would think that like 2025, that's probably when we'll see Soul Calibur.
Yeah. Okay, then 2025. That's fine with me.
Yes. Uh, hey, I'll get you back into fighting games.
Maybe you do. I mean, I was never good or something, but it was fun. I don't know. My main character in Soul Calibur 3 was Siegfried. Not because of the name and because I'm German, because but because I don't know, big swords and stuff. He was cool.
Can you
Yeah, and
take 3 guesses as to who my main 3 in Soul Calibur are?
okay, maybe Siegfried?
Nope.
No. Okay, okay.
They're all ladies, if that helps you narrow it
All
down.
ladies. Okay, then what was her name? Sophitia?
Yep, she is one of my mains.
She's one of the mains. Um, who do we have? Oh, I can't remember all the names, but what was the name of that one with this? She has like a staff, not a staff, but
I can't remember that character, but I will tell you the characters I mean. Cassandra, who is Sophidia's sister, if you remember
yes,
that,
of course,
and
Cassandra.
Amy.
Amy. Ah, okay, that one. Ah, okay, Amy. Yeah, it was like she had red hair,
Yes,
brown,
red hair.
red hair. Yeah,
Um,
okay, these three.
they are the ones who suit my playing style the best. Since we're kind of on the topic of fighting games, what sort of style do you look for in your fighters?
Good question. I haven't prepared for that.
I wasn't
Um,
prepared to ask it.
yeah, it just we're going with the flow. We're going with the flow. I don't know. I mean, fighting games, as I said, the one thing that drew me to Soul Calibur, more
Big
to any other
weapons
fighting game.
was the big weapons, right?
Absolutely. Like weapons. I mean, I played JRPGs before and you always have weapons in your hand and stuff. I mean, there's always one character that fights with his fist. But weapons, yeah, I mean, it was so cool equipping the character with weapons. So that one was really cool. And the characters I played the most in Soul Calibur 3 were Siegfried, Kilik, if I remember correctly, the one with
Yep.
the staff.
Yep.
Um, I also played a lot of Cassandra. Um, then, I mean, as a teenager, I wanted to be good with Ivy, but I wasn't, so I needed to accept that I can't play her for obvious reasons. And there was one thing, and Nightmare, of course. Yeah, Nightmare was one but he is kind of similar to Siegfried, so.
So basically, you either like big slow guys or you like speedy characters.
Yeah, and one character I forgot, Mitsurugi. Mitsurugi was fantastic.
Okay, I could definitely work with finding you characters that you would like.
Hmm.
So that's great. Since we're speaking on remasters still, technically, I would love to see the Nest Saga and the fuck Tales of Ash Saga, I think it's called, those sagas for the King of Fighters, because they comprise multiple games.
Okay. I'm really not familiar with King of Fighters, unfortunately.
So that would be King of Fighters 2000 until fuck. Basically, Nest Saga went from, I am going to Google this because I don't want to appear like a numpty.
Yeah, go ahead.
Nest Chronicles is what they called it.
Chronicles.
Okay, when did that run from? So that ran from 99 until 2001, it looks like.
Hmm.
And then the Tales of Ash saga, that ran from 2003 until King of Fighters 13.
I didn't know that King of Fighters was a series that's running that long. 1999, you said.
Oh, the original game came out in 94.
94. Wow. Okay. I mean,
Yeah,
I could have guessed because there are like, what was the last 15?
15 was the last title, yes.
15, yeah. Okay, yeah.
Sometime when that's on sale, please pick it up because it would be so fun to play you in that game. Quickly look up these three characters because they are like my mains in that one. Uh, Vanessa, uh, Leona, B. Jenny, and for a fourth character, Blue Mary.
Okay, I'm looking at Vanessa. Okay. She looks cool. What was the second one?
Leona, Hydern.
Sorry again.
Leona Hydern.
Ah, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I've typed the third one because it said B. Jenny, but weird spelling.
Ah, okay, thank you. I wouldn't have guessed that. Ah, okay. She looks cute.
And then for a final one, Blue Mary.
Blue Mary. Blue Mary. Type that in. I mean, they all look kind of similar, and I don't mean that in a bad way.
No,
They're,
I know what you mean.
yeah, I mean, okay, these games are designed in a certain way, so it doesn't surprise me. But Blue Mary looks the best. She's the coolest. She looks a bit like Android
Android.
18 from Dragon Ball
Here's
Z.
here's a fun story for you. She is literally legally distinct Android 18 in terms of her design
Okay.
because the character who created her loved Android 18. So it was like paying homage to Dragon Ball Z.
And that's even funnier. I said that. Okay, yeah, she looks really cool. Great character design.
Um, but what I tend to look for in characters is speedy, and this is just something I've noticed with fighting games. They don't give you too many speedy dudes.
Yeah, right. They're always like muscle heavy and stuff. Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I know that I'm just gonna ignore most of the dudes and look for a waifu. That's basically my mentality when it comes to fighting games.
Yeah, I can see why. I always prefer. I mean, I said that I play Siegfried in Soul Calibur 3, but I tend to, like in other games outside of fighting games also, I tend to choose like speedy characters over like heavy and slow characters.
Which here's something that I find insanely funny. I tend to pick speedy characters, but in Trails of Cold Steel, Laura Arcade, or S Arcade, sorry, she is one of my favorites, and I always prioritize using her and Emma, two of the slowest characters, I might add, when I'm playing Trails of Cold Steel.
Ah, okay.
Because,
Yeah.
like, here's the thing, Laura's literally like, if you build her right, she can actually do the most damage out of the Cold Steel sub-series.
Ah, okay. So I can see why you choose her. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
Basically,
yeah,
you just get her craft points up as high as you can,
hmm.
and then you unleash her S craft, which is like a limit break, basically. And
Okay.
in the early games it can do in the high 25 like high 20,000s to low 40,000s. And then in later games it can do over 1 million damage.
Oh wow, what? The damage goes that high?
There's
Okay.
not really a damage cap that I've noticed in Trails games.
Okay. I mean, I love when JRPGs do that, like insane numbers. Star Ocean is kind of the same way. Like the third one and fourth one did the same thing. Yeah.
That is something you're going to love about Trails into Reverie, is the fact that there is a level cap, but you can literally build your characters in such a way that you don't really hit a hard damage cap.
Hmm.
And
Oh,
I use Emma because she can be used in so many different ways. She's what I would call a utility mage.
mm-hmm.
So like you can have her be like a nuclear option, but with magic and do millions of damage.
Millions.
Yeah,
That sounds so epic. I mean, I like I said before, I can't wait to dive into that series. Everything about it looks so appealing to me, and I don't know. I just love the whole style of these Falcom games. I mean, Ease obviously is
they're
epic as
amazing.
fuck. Yeah, and so everything about these games, like every single game, looks totally cool. And yeah, I will start that probably next month.
Nice. And then with Emma, you can also have her be a healing mage, and she is literally the best in both roles, making all other mages I find in the Cold Steel subseries useless. Then again, Elliot is pretty much fucking useless.
Okay, so that's a name I need to remember. Elliot is
Yeah.
useless. Okay, so I don't use that one.
Well, you're forced to use certain characters at certain
Yeah.
points in
Okay.
story segments, which is annoying. But usually Falcom is pretty good about not making a character outright useless, which is awesome. But
Yeah, because
fuck Elliot, I call him Captain Useless. That's how bad he is.
Captain Captain Useless. Yeah, he's the captain of uselessness. But here's one thing I was going to say. I don't want to interrupt you with that, but if we're talking about Falcom and remasters or remakes, I never heard anyone saying this, but I want E6, the Ark of Nepishtim, to be remade. I love that. Do you know that game?
I know of it. I haven't played it, but I think that that one might be on PC.
It is, and I own it on PC, and I played a little bit of it on PC, but I was disappointed by this version because E6 is notorious for having really bad voice acting, and they removed that for the PC version, and I hated it because I wanted that bad voice acting as I remember it from my childhood. Um,
I'm actually
or I said,
curious if you could modify it to include the old voice acting if you came across the files.
yeah, you probably could, but you know, as a lazy person I am, it would be it would be better to have a remake of that. I don't know. It's something about this game that it's probably a lot of nostalgia, um, but especially the music and I don't know. The combat was also great, but the music was so epic, and I love that game, and I would want to see a remaster of that one. That would be. I mean, it's not very likely, but
I think we're going to
ooh,
get all of the older East games remastered in some way or retold in some way in the future, because Falcom have indicated that they want to revisit some older East games.
hmm. I mean, they
Also,
they
also
sorry,
Memories of Salsetta. That one was technically a remake.
yes, of the third one.
Fourth one, I believe.
Hmm.
So I mean, it's not out of the question.
It's not, and if I remember correctly, I mean, someone in the comments will probably correct me if I'm wrong there. But if I remember correctly, there was Ys Oath in Felghana, which was also a remake of, I don't know, the second or the third one or the fourth one, I'm not sure, of some of these games. So they already did that. And maybe in some other way, they could do the same thing with, I don't know, Ys 5 or Ys 6. Whatever 5 is, I don't know what the name of 5 actually.
I will
But
look that up real quick. Lost Kefin Kingdom of Sand.
okay, that's I don't know, this doesn't sound familiar, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, Ark of Napishtim would be great to see. So I hope Falcom really does that.
Same here. I'd also love to see them revisit the Tokyo Xanadu subseries.
That's another one. That's
Only one game so far, but it left enough of an impression on me.
I heard so many things about it, but I just recently actually I heard of this game for the first time this year. And I wasn't aware of it before. And is it so it's good, I suppose.
It's very good. I actually have a bloody good idea just now. You have
That
it,
is?
correct?
I don't have it, no.
Okay, how's this sound? If you pick it up, we will do a. This will sound like a weird way to collab, but we both do a review of it.
Mhm.
And then we hop on a podcast and give our thoughts on it.
Oh yeah, that would be great. We
Okay,
can do that.
perfect. Let's.
I think you take notes right now.
Yep, I'm gonna send that along to you.
I mean, there's so many games to play.
But
But yeah, Tokyo Xanadu. I mean, it looks cool.
I've not actually completed it yet, but I've like started it a few times and then basically either got sick and dropped it or had other games that or other things that took commitment, and then I'm like, well, I may as well start over again.
Yeah,
And
I know that.
it's not even that I hate the game. I actually quite like the game. It's just a case of fuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got that with a few games in my life too. Like I really like them, but weirdly enough, I stopped playing them. Even with amazing games like The Witcher 3. I started that and I played quite a bit of it, like 40 hours or something. And then I stopped playing it for, I don't know, 6 months or something. And half a year later, I finished it. And it was just, I don't know, I was like 10 hours, it was like 10 hours to go. So I don't know why I stopped. There was no reason.
I actually started and completed The Witcher 3 during the first year of the pandemic.
And did you like it?
I loved it.
It's great. It's a great game.
Basically, it was the right game at the right time, but I will say this, I burnt myself out hard on open world games because of what I did. What I
Oh,
did is I played The Witcher 3, did a lot of the side quests because that game's just impossible to do every side quest in, let's face it.
yes.
Did that. Then there was like a few months where I was like focused on Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Mm-hmm.
So that was fine. That was a palate cleanser. Game annoyed me at points because there were just quirks to Final Fantasy VII Remake that weren't really my cup of tea, but I do like the game. Don't love it like most people do, but I like it. And then I played The Last of Us Part 2, said fuck this game. It's not
Wow.
because they killed Joel off, though. It's just because the game really it upset me with the fact that you don't have any non-lethal options of killing the or taking the dogs out.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
as a dog owner and lover, you will clearly understand where I'm coming from with that one.
Totally, totally.
It's just
Yeah.
like that kind of triggered me, and I was like, I can't. The game's not even that fun to start with, so fuck this game.
Oh yeah, I have a strong opinion on that too. Yeah, but yeah, go ahead.
Um, and then I got right into Ghost of Tsushima because it released a day before my birthday that year.
Ah, okay.
And then
And
I marathoned that, and then it was like, okay, I've had my fill of open world games.
yeah, I can totally see why, because I kind of burned off myself too on open world games, because last year Elden Ring came out, and uh, I absolutely fell in love with this game. I was amazed the whole time. Annoyed at times, yeah, okay.
Because
But
Souls like, right?
yeah, Souls like. Um, but it's a fantastic game. And in my opinion, Elden Ring has the best open world ever created, in my opinion. And the mistake I made was playing Horizon 2 Forbidden West right after that. And this game has a fucking boring open worlds. I mean, it looks gorgeous. It's really beautiful, and the enemy design is fantastic. Like, combat is really, really cool. But the world itself, the exploration in it was so tedious and boring, and I don't know. So I discussed it in one of my recent videos.
I remember that video, and I commented on that one.
Yeah, I remember, and I said that this is one of the most overrated games in my opinion. It's not bad. It doesn't mean overrated. Doesn't mean bad for me,
Same
but
here.
it's not as good as people say it is.
Mhm.
So
I
yeah.
actually, getting back to the open world part for a little bit, then like, because PS5 showcase showed off Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man Miles Morales, obviously, when they were
Mm.
announcing the console. So like, that was one of the first games I bought for my PS5 was Miles Morales. I still haven't completed Miles Morales because I
Oh,
was so burnt out on open world games after Witcher, then Ghost of Tsushima. It was like, I'm loving Miles, but I can't complete it. You know what I mean?
yeah, I know what you mean. Sometimes I don't know. Sometimes games can be like really exhausting at times, and open world games especially, because there's always a bit of fear of missing out stuff, or like especially huge games like Elden Ring or The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom and stuff. You want to do as much
As
as
possible.
possible because you don't want to miss out on anything. You don't want someone to talk about the game and say something about, I don't know, an epic side quest or a cool thing that they discovered, and you never heard about it because you rushed through the story or something.
Hmm.
And so these games can get quite exhausting
Not only
for that
that,
reason.
but they also have a very formulaic design if you ultimately think about it.
Yeah, you're right. They have.
And people will say that we're being hypocritical because we love JRPGs. Yeah, they can be formulaic too, but the thing is, if you look at JRPGs, they tend to mix up the formula in such a way that even if they are formulaic, you don't feel that formula quite as badly, I find.
Yeah, and I would add one thing to that. Open world games often have a problem with telling a cohesive story.
Yep.
Like, you have story parts, and then you have a then the game basically forces you to discover things, and so the story takes much of a break most of the times, and the game is built around that. So JRPGs, with all their maybe I don't know, formulas.
Idiosyncrasies.
Yeah, and yeah, that, and with their formulas, they tell a story that most of the time is told in a better
Cohesive.
pacing than open world games.
Much more cohesive.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Speaking of, I do want to see the Witcher games, the first two, get remastered.
They actually announced the first game to be to get a
Remade.
remake.
Yep.
Yeah,
Um,
and that's fantastic.
I also want to see the first two Infamous games get remade.
Ah, okay. The Infamous games were on the PS3, started on the
Yes.
PS3, right?
Yes.
Okay, never.
We've only gotten 3 games in that series, by the way.
Okay, was it like Infamous 1 and 2, and then was this First Light thing or something?
Second Son. First Light is just kind of DLC that they released at a not DLC price.
Ah, you mean like full price?
It was somewhere between DLC price and full price,
Ah, okay.
but it was like DLC length, and honestly, it felt like it should have been part of the Second Son client, if I'm being
Hmm.
perfectly honest,
Hmm.
because it didn't really. It did stuff and it was cool, but it felt more like, oh, this is just like add-on content.
Yeah. Okay, I understand. I never played the Infamous games, but they look like a hell lot of fun.
Do you still have a PS3 kicking around?
You have me too. I actually own a PS1, a PS2, 3, 4, and 5.
Okay, cool. I was asking if you had a PS3 kicking around, but I guess it stumbled me a little bit.
I have too many consoles actually. I don't know.
Fair
All
enough.
laying around.
Fair enough. But like you can pick up the first two Infamous games for real cheap now.
Mm, right.
They're like
And then
€8 at this point.
€8. Yeah, that's totally fine. Do you know who developed these games?
It was Sucker Punch Studios or
Ah,
Sucker Punch Productions, I mean.
okay. So the devs who made Ghost of Tsushima later. Okay,
Yes. And you
right.
can tell if you played the Infamous games beforehand that they used everything that they learned from that and from Sly Cooper to make Ghost of Tsushima.
Hmm. Okay, so maybe I need to go back to play them.
I would say you
Um,
definitely do because they are so unique because they actually used actual comic book panels. Like that was like the way that they conveyed some of the story.
cool. That sounds cool. Yeah.
It was.
Like I
It
would
was.
enjoy it.
It was. I really want them remastered because they're just great games, and I feel like the PS5 hardware is ideal for the type of game that they were trying to tell with the
Hmm.
first two games because electricity powers. Now imagine ray tracing on each piece of electricity you throw out into the world.
That will look so epic. That will look so cool.
And even though it was, the dark gray and beige and gray brown color palette of the 7th generation of hardware, Infamous still had color to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and there was I remember I mean I didn't play it like I said, but from all the footage I saw, I remember Infamous always, and correct me if I'm wrong there, but it has a lot of contrast with all
Yes.
the effects you have.
Yes. Correct.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, it would be perfect to get that, especially because 3 games. You just bring it out in one collection, please. That would be cool.
Well, you could always
Um,
pick up the PS4 version of Second Son since that's the only hardware it's on.
yeah, but I mean, if they would remaster one game, why not remaster all of
Yeah.
them and just
I
release
I
a
I
bundle?
just I just feel like the first two games are the ones that really need the remaster because they're stuck on old ass hardware at this point in
Mm.
time.
Mm.
And the fact that you can clearly tell that Sucker Punch had more ambition than the PS3 was capable of.
Yeah.
Even though it was
Okay.
very, very powerful hardware for the time.
It was. It was. I mean, the jump from PS2 to PS3 was huge.
It was, but also there's the fact that NASA was using it for science projects.
Ah, right. Yeah, you're right. You okay? I remember that.
Yeah, like that is fucking cool if you think about it, because the blast cell architecture was exactly what they needed. And it was
They
cheap, and it was cheaper than buying two supercomputers.
that's it's actually crazy when you think about it. Is it it was like they connected like I don't know 100 PS3s or something? Was it like that?
Yes, it was 100 PS3s in a daisy chain.
It's that's fucking ridiculous, but somehow it's really cool. I mean, NASA used PlayStation 3, so it's that's news.
Yeah,
Cool.
and they used it, I think, for simulating black holes, if I remember correctly.
Okay, now it's getting even cooler.
And here's the thing, I don't know if you ever fooled around with it on your PS3, but there was a program called Folding at Home.
No, I
Okay,
don't know
so
that.
okay, so this was an initiative that Sony launched day one or so with the PS3. And basically, what you would do is you would launch the program called Folding at Home, and it would put your PS3 into a rest mode state, sort of. And
Mm-hmm.
that was actually used to help simulate cancerous cells, and it was used to develop new treatments for cancer.
What the? Okay, I never heard about that. That's insane. Okay.
Yeah, like PlayStation was doing some really wacky shit during that era, and I kind of wish they would bring that back a little bit.
Yeah. Now I don't know. Somehow Sony is doing weird things now. I mean, I'm saying that they're doing great things at many times, but there's one thing I never understand. Would you agree that the PlayStation 5 store is shit
It's better than the
compared to
P.
the PlayStation 4 one?
I feel like the I feel like I like the PS5 one more, but I think they're both shit.
Yeah, but they're better than the Xbox store. I hate the Xbox store. I don't know.
I will say this though, if you're trying to shop for PlayStation games, just use the PlayStation Network website. It's so much easier.
It is. It actually is. Yeah.
Um, so are there any other games you want to see remastered or remade?
I could go honestly, I could go on for hours. I would say, okay, let me think of one thing I point out of these things I have written down here. Um, maybe a bit of a controversial one, especially because like an hour ago or something, I said that Final Fantasy 13 was not as good as not a good experience for me, but still, I kind of want a Final Fantasy 13 trilogy remake for modern consoles. If 13 and 13.2 and Lightning Returns would appear at some point on the PS5, for example, or Xbox or whatever, we would have all of the Final Fantasy games except 11, of course, uh, on modern consoles. And I kind of want to revisit them.
I'm all
Um,
for it
and,
because I think my opinions on Final Fantasy 13 may have softened if I actually played it now,
hmm.
because I'm older now. I kind of understand what JRPGs are, and I feel like I could get around some of the quirks that made me not like it. And it wasn't, like you said, it wasn't because it was linear. It was just because of how grinding worked, and the story was pretty nonsensical.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, exactly my thoughts on it. I think I would appreciate it more. And also, Final Fantasy 13, the original Final Fantasy 13 version on the PS3 still looks great, I think. I don't know, this game still looks great. And thinking about having a remaster of that, I don't know, it would be so cool. Also, 13.2 is a fucking weird game. I remember I played that and I really loved the whole like monster collecting thing of it. And enjoyed that way more than 13. But the story was also very weird. but it has one of my absolutely favorite Final Fantasy tracks ever. So, yeah.
Thought of another podcast topic, sent that one to you. Tell me,
Yes,
tell me.
great.
Perfect. So
Absolutely
maybe
great.
we could spoil that now and have this be the endpoint for the game. I mean, the podcast.
Yeah, that would be cool.
So, some point in the future, me and Luca will be covering weirdest JRPGs.
I'm already looking forward to that.
Is there any that you kind of want to tease towards?
Not now. I mean, I released a video today, which is about how, and we already had a chat about that on Discord. I released a video today how 2023 is the worst year in gaming, at least for a long time. From a certain point of view, I don't know if you already watched that. I mean, I just released it like 5 hours ago or something. So
I
at
was
this point,
sleeping at the time because of a
yeah.
migraine, so no.
So you probably haven't seen that in your dreams. A shame. No, but yeah. So maybe people are interested in that and want to watch that. I don't know. I'm kind of proud of what I produced there. So
I will be putting it in a link when this podcast goes live in both the description and in a pinned comment, so they can check that out.
Thank you very much.
No problem. Is there anything else you kind of want to promote about yourself before we sign off?
The only thing I want to say is one reason I started I started this YouTube channel is I love lists, and I love the ultimate list, which is the best games of the year list, which is coming up in the middle of December. So if you want to see what I think are the best games of this year, hop over to my channel and leave a like or a comment if you want. Yeah, that's the only thing.
Awesome. Thanks for coming on, Luca Feiitogaming. I really enjoyed chatting with you over this, however long this winds up being, because I lost track of time.
Me too. I think thanks for having me to say that. The first, it was great. I think we talked like 1.5 hours or something. Yeah.
Perfect, which wound up working out roughly to the time that you said you had, so...
Yeah, right.
Anyways, 2 of my previous podcasts will be popping up now. If you want to check them out, please do so. And until next time, keep blazing that trail.